Good morning, everyone. Still in Jamaica. Kind of experience that really, what I imagine is what all this, like from a psychotherapeutic perspective, is all about, Went into a darkened room and put on eye shades and had this music and the person sitting there took a very high dose and it felt like psychedelic therapy. People talk about, when it's done like this, that you're doing like weeks, months, sometimes years of therapy in kind of a 3-hour window. And it felt like that. There was a doctor and a therapist and someone else who had been doing training up until now to be the guide. So there were 3 of those folks. And then there were 3 of us who were doing the training, myself, another social worker from the States, and then a psychologist who was based in Jamaica. That evening we did some training initially, and then we did, which is I think quite standard in like clinical trials, a microdose, which is a very, very tiny bit of psilocybin. Like I think it turns out to often be like 1/20th of an actual dose that you might take for the journey. Do that obviously to kind of just see how your body responds, like maybe the strength of it. Do you have any reactions, which aren't, very common anyway. But, so this whole time we're kind of bonding and connecting. And then they shared the agenda for the next day, which would be 3 people would be journeying, and then 3 people would be their guides, facilitators. So we had a couple local folks who were really great and helpful and supporting everything that was going on that day. So we woke up on the Saturday, we had some more training around this stuff and just kind of grounding, kind of transitioning from the training work and just starting to prepare to drink the tea, and the psilocybin was prepared into tea. Prior to that, we met with the person who was figuring out dosage. It all started coming on pretty quickly, so there was a little bit of, I wouldn't say panic, but anxiety that I wasn't ready. It was all happening, and I thought I was going to sit and meditate for a little while, but it soon became very clear that, lie back, put your gear on, and let's go. It was very visual at times in the early parts, so when you close your eyes, obviously you see kind of kaleidoscope and things like that. Music was really transformative and really supportive. Set and setting, which I've talked about before, incredibly important. Like, what's the physical environment? What's, everything around you? Like the set part is like the mindset. What do you bring into it? Is there anxiety? Is there ease? What's your relationship with the person who's sitting for you? The guide, which is incredibly important. Yeah, and what dose and stuff like that. So I won't go into all the details of the therapeutic side of my experience, but suffice to say it was powerful and at times quite painful, like psychologically, emotionally. But it always felt like very cathartic. It felt like things were being processed, things were being moved through, things that I was aware about that I know of through my own therapy and my own kind of awareness, but to feel them experientially, not to know them, to think them, but to feel like it just, I don't know, the idea of psilocybin is that you're opening up the pathways in the brain. And so instead of your normal kind of cognitive, these grooves that are kind of in the brain about thinking about the way you always think about things or emotions that tend to always come up. This is kind of like pulling it all apart or pulling it all back and allowing more parts of your brain to kind of communicate with each other. And I just want to say that the experience was incredibly fulfilling, incredibly beautiful, incredibly challenging. And the people I met along the way, I feel connected to them now in some ways. Whether I ever see them again, I feel connected to them forever. And I'm incredibly grateful for the privilege and the opportunity to be able to do this work, because it's not available to everybody. And yeah, that's about it. Bye.